All forms of agriculture is reliant on fuel and diesel for operations. Currently, grain farmers in the Western Cape are working on their crops. Producers apply in advance of a season for financing, and major increases, such as the latest fuel hike, adds extra pressure to find funds.
We need also to have a look at the increase in diesel price or fuel price in conjunction with the close to doubling of fertilizer and chemical price increases. A further risk is that producers need to do their budgets beforehand and apply for OPEX. And if we find or see these type of increases in input cost, producers then throughout or within the season need to obtain additional OPEX, and that might be a problem for some of our producers to obtain these additional funds or capital to accommodate the increase in input cost.
Agri Western Cape says year on year, the prices of fuel for the months of April, May and June have increased by 45, 55 and 60% respectively. For grain producers, 20 litres of fuel is needed for every hectare in production. These increases has driven up the price by 120 rand per hectare, and consumers will feel it.
Producers are price takers and therefore need to absorb the increase in input cost. The question is, who's going to absorb the increase down the value chain? And that is a concern for us in terms of food price inflation, as well as purchasing power of the consumer that's being eroded.
Meanwhile, the Premier of the province, Alan Winde, and the MEC for Mobility have called on national government to scrap the general fuel levy.
I call on the National Minister of Transport, Minister Mbulula, to join our fight against the increase in the price of fuel, given the huge impact on the transport sector and the adverse knock-on effect throughout the economy. Let's start by jointly fighting for the scrapping of the general fuel levy to ease the impact of the record fuel price increases. I plead with Minister Mbulula to engage his cabinet colleagues, the Minister of Finance and Energy, and ask them to put the needs of our already struggling commuters and motorists first and stop the exorbitant tax rate on fuel that is imposed by the national government.
South African producers get little to no subsidy from government, as is in countries in Europe, among others. But Strydom says local producers are consistently still among the best in the world, steadfastly delivering quality produce. Mariska Botha, SABC News, Cape Town.